Good morning. My name is Abigail Bottome. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a member of the Worship and Music Committee, and I will be your worship associate this morning. I'm delighted to welcome you here, whether you are visiting this morning or a regular member. Please check with a greeter if you have any questions. Today, we acknowledge that we are located in a place that was once the Wampanoag village of Patuxet. We strive to follow their example and be faithful stewards of this sacred land. The theme for today's service is a generosity of spirit. Our service is recorded. Following the benediction, we will go into our candle section. This section is edited out of our social media broadcast, but is live on Zoom, so that we can speak more candidly and personally as a community. This service, as all our services, will be posted on our Facebook page and YouTube. Our service today is presented by our minister, Reverend Art Lavoie. Our service is being filmed by Lydia Robertson and Linda Harding. Today's live music is presented by Emily Browder Melville. Because our services vary from week to week, we suggest you visit us again to experience the variety of worship we offer. If you're a visitor, please consider signing the guest book, which is in the foyer in the back, so you may receive our weekly e-blast. Also, pamphlets are there which may further explain the compass and depth of Unitarian Universalism and may give you a better sense of who we are. We are hosting coffee hour after the service. We invite you to join us for fellowship and to partake in treats. If you're interested in helping out with coffee, please talk to Julia Thomas. I know she'd love to hear from you. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on your journey, let us walk together this hour.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Arthur Lavoie. I want to take an opportunity to offer my welcome to everyone this morning for being here, and especially to those who are watching online, either on our Facebook or our YouTube site or on public access television. Are we live on Zoom today? Linda? Are we live on Zoom? And we are live on Zoom as well today, and hope to continue to be able to do that in the future. So welcome to everyone, and thank you for being here. I don't know about you, but I'm a little unnerved by the time change. It felt like it was too light this morning, and I was going to be late for something, and I wasn't. But welcome. We'll notice it this afternoon when it's going to get dark really early. That's for sure.
Our call to worship is Here in This Place by Reverend Jack Mendelson. Here in this place of ancient dreams and wisdom and beauty, we come to grow, to be healed, to stretch mind and heart, to be challenged, renewed, to be helped in our own continuing struggles for meaning and for love, to help build a world with more justice and mercy in it, to be counted among the hopers and doers. In the face of cynicism, darkness, brutality around us and within, we seek to align ourselves with a living community that would affirm rather than despair, that would think and act rather than simply adjust and succumb. Here we invite the spirit of our own humanity and the healing powers under, around, through, and beyond it to give us the nerve and grace, the toughness and sensitivity to search out the truth that frees and the life that maketh all things new.
So I invite everyone to join me in singing hymn number 18, What Wondrous Love. And we're ignoring the harmony section on the right side of the page and going by the melody that's on the left side of the page. Please rise in body and spirit. And please remain standing for our chalice lighting. And I invite people not to go directly into the chalice lighting words. We're going to do a little something different with this morning. So if you could light the chalice, take a candle here. And light that one first. It's a new candle. There it is. We light our chalice as a symbol of our faith. But I'm trying something new this morning, and we're going to decide whether, and I welcome your feedback on how this might work. There is so much violence and carnage in our world today that I'm going to light, or have us light, a second candle, and Aaliyah, like the, for any recent manifestations of violence that people want to bring up. We want to remember especially the folks in Lewiston, Maine, and the families and friends of everyone there that are grieving still all the violence and carnage that are continuing to happen in the Ukraine and the Middle East. And so let us now say the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of the church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. Okay.
I have?
An umbrella.
What's an umbrella for?
It usually when it's raining, it keeps you dry.
Yes. I wish I remembered my umbrella last week when I was in this far-off place called Carver. And I had to go to the town hall, and it was raining, and I had papers, and I had no umbrella. So now I'm going to tell you a story about an umbrella. Well, this story has to do with a young girl, a very old lady, and a man, and how they affected many more people. But I need some help from you. When I say the word boom, you have to be the thunder and say, boom! Let's try it. Boom. Boom! Yes. When I say the word sanctuary, you're going to say, sanctuary. Try it. Sanctuary. Perfect. Are you ready? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little girl, just like you or I, who was caught outside in a sudden rainstorm. She ran inside to the nearest store. I wish I had thought of that last week. She waited out the rainstorm. Smart little girl. As soon as she closed the door, a bright flash and a loud boom of thunder followed. Boom. Yes. I didn't hear you. Boom. Okay. The little girl knew that she would be stuck in the store for quite a while. She started to look around at some of the different things in the store when the storekeeper came over to her. The storekeeper was the oldest woman the little girl had ever seen. She had white hair, and her face was full of wrinkles. The little girl was brave enough to admit that she was a little scared. "Young woman," said the old shopkeeper, "can I help you with something?" The little girl pointed outside, too afraid to talk. "Ah," said the old woman, "did you run in here out of the rain?" The little girl nodded, and then there was another loud boom. Boom. Yes. "Well, you can wait in here in my little sanctuary. We've got a nice sturdy roof over our heads, and it'll keep you dry and safe." The little girl appreciated the offer, but she really needed to get back outside and continue on her way. The old shopkeeper could tell the girl was hesitating. "Or," said the shopkeeper, "you could head outside with this." The old shopkeeper went behind the counter. What do you think she pulled out?
An umbrella.
Yes. That's right. "Take this umbrella," said the old shopkeeper. "I don't know why it's raining, but I do know that you can keep dry under this portable sanctuary." The little girl beamed, but then stopped in her tracks. "I don't have any money," said the little girl. The shopkeeper waved her off. "No worries, little girl. Just be sure to offer the umbrella to someone else when they need it." The little girl accepted the umbrella and headed outside, opened up her umbrella, and went on her way dry. The little girl was happy. She started skipping down the street and was perfectly thrilled when she saw a man wearing a suit, trying to keep dry by putting a newspaper on his head. She heard another loud boom. Boom! Oh, you guys are getting good. And the newspaper began to fall apart under the heavy rain. She skipped over to the man in the suit and held the umbrella up as high as she could. "Thank you," said the man. Remembering the words of the old shopkeeper, the little girl told the man, "I don't know why it's raining, but I do know that you can keep dry with me under this portable sanctuary." The man smiled in relief. He'd been having a really bad day. See, he was wearing a suit because he was on his way to a job interview. He had been out of work for a long, long time and was desperate. He had to walk to the interview because he couldn't afford a car. When it started to rain, he cursed his luck. He would show up at this really important interview soaking wet with pieces of newspaper on his suit. He knew it was a very bad first impression. The little girl spotted her family in the store across the street and said, "Here, take the umbrella with you. I see my family right over there across the street." "Oh, I couldn't take your umbrella," said the man, feeling guilty. "No, take it. Just be sure to offer the umbrella to someone else when they need it." The little girl put the umbrella into his hands and ran off to meet her family. The man couldn't believe how nice the little girl was. He knew he had to hurry, though, because it was almost time for his very important interview. Another boom of thunder caused him to start running. Well, I can tell you that the man got the job he interviewed for, and soon enough, he was able to afford an umbrella of his own. Whenever it would rain, he would bring not only his umbrella, but the little girl's umbrella that she had given him. He would even bring 2 more small umbrellas to give away to people who were stuck outside in the rain. And every time he gave away an umbrella, he would say, "I don't know why it's raining, but I do know that you can keep dry in this portable sanctuary." Soon, everyone in their town had an umbrella that they could take with them. And if the townspeople passed by someone without an umbrella, they would give up their own and pass on the words. Now the entire community didn't know why it rained, but they all knew they had portable sanctuary. And now I'll take the children on a journey of learning and discovery.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Our reading this morning is The Story Goes by Gretchen Haley. The story goes that once there was a wise woman traveling all through the mountains. One day she found a precious stone in a stream. She was so happy and grateful. It could change her life. The next day she met a man traveling just like her through the mountains. He was hungry and she was happy to share her food. But as she opened her bag, the man saw the stone, and he knew with this stone he would be able to eat all his favorite foods. His mouth watered, imagining all the incredible flavors, all the ways his life would be filled with so much goodness. Instead of the food, he asked, "Can I have that stone?" The woman looked at him. Of course, and just like that, it was his. The man was so happy. He ran quickly away, afraid she would change her mind. A few days later, however, the man appeared again, carrying the stone in his hands. "Take it back," he said. "Instead, I hope you can give me something even more precious than this precious stone. I hope you can give me whatever it is within you that made it so easy for you when I asked to just give it away." In this place, for this hour, we are all trying to learn how it is when we are asked to trust, to love, to give of ourselves, to share our blessings, that we can say an easy and great yes. And also, we are here to remember we all carry with us a precious stone that is this great blessing, this gift that is just ours, this gift that we long to offer the world, that in our giving will bless us all the more.
You can play the game and you can act out the part. You know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother and sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. And what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to leave. I think it's true what they say about that squeaky wheel always getting the grease. Better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be just fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will.
Thank you. In June of 2009, our Unitarian Universalist General Assembly was held in Salt Lake City. Mark, my then partner, and I decided that after General Assembly, we would spend a week visiting national parks in southern Utah. So we carefully plotted our course, trying to find gay-friendly accommodations in the places where we would need to stay. This is Mormon country, after all, and we didn't know how people might react to two men traveling together and sharing a room. In the town of Panguitch, just outside of Bryce Canyon National Park, there was only one such B&B listed on the website for gay-friendly places to stay. I called the number. The woman on the other end of the phone said, "Thanks for calling. I'm at a gun show right now. Can I call you back tomorrow when I get home?" A gun show? My stomach did a flip. "Sure," I said, "that would be fine." The next day, when I made the reservation, she expressed surprise that her B&B was still listed in the Guide for Gay-Friendly Accommodations. "Oh, I didn't know we were still running that ad." My stomach did another flip. I talked it over with Mark. We would only stay there for one night, after all. How bad could it be? It was a teeny tiny little town, but this was a major tourist area. Surely they've seen people like us before. When we left Salt Lake City, we spent a couple of great days in Moab, Utah, and then we loaded up the rental car and headed for Panguitch and Bryce Canyon, which, by the way, proved to be the most beautiful and extraordinary of the 4 national parks we visited on that trip. We arrived at the B&B and met Peggy, our host. She seemed very gracious and welcoming. We breathed a sigh of relief and went off to see the canyon. As it turned out, we were the only guests in her house that night. The next morning, over the most sumptuous breakfast I have ever seen or eaten, Peggy asked if she could sit at the table with us. We talked for 2 hours about religion, spirituality, and Unitarian Universalism. As we got to know each other, we found that she was from California and lived in Panguitch, running this B&B for about 6 months of the year. She was somewhat of a stranger herself in these parts, but had gotten to know folks because of her open-hearted hospitality. She baked cookies for all the local events and functions. She had some other UUs stay with her a couple of weeks before who were touring the parks on their way to General Assembly. After talking with them, she looked us up online. The abundance of grace, the bounty of food, and the depth of our sharing was so unexpected, and we were reluctant to leave. What we had thought might be the most challenging part of our trip turned out to be the most remarkable blessing. We were amazed. We were a little humbled and sorry that we were only spending one night in her home. We never did ask about the gun show. It was fine not to go there. That is one of the things we need to pay attention to, and that I've learned to pay attention to as we begin to encounter and get to know people who might be different from us. We begin building bonds and relationships with the things we have in common. Once we build a more trusting connection, we can then broach some of the more difficult issues. What about you? Can you recall a similar kind of experience when you met someone that you had concerns or fears about and then found a deep connection by taking the risk to get to know them better? A generosity of spirit, an abundance of grace and love is available to all of us, even at the most unforeseen times, even in the most unexpected places. It's right there. All we have to do is be open to it and then manifest that in our own lives. So how might we describe this generosity of spirit? First, let me say that it is an ongoing spiritual practice that we must work at every day. It's not something to turn on and off by whim or chance. In this practice, we put aside some of our fears and concerns and approach others with a more open attitude. We ignore some of the ways we usually categorize or judge other people so that we can approach them in a more inquisitive way. We strive to know and accept others for who they are, and not just how we might label them by their perceived race or gender identity or religious or cultural practices or their appearance. It's not an easy task. With a society and world that is so fractured and divided, it is easy to let fear, uncertainty, and anxiety swallow us up. It's easier sometimes to retreat into our own little lives with our tight circle of friends and block out anything that might seem to threaten that fragile hold we have on life and truth. Opening our hearts and minds and stepping outside takes some courage and spiritual discipline and lots of support. The Buddha is known to have said, "If you knew as I do the power of giving, you would not let a single meal pass by without sharing some of it." Beth Roth writes, "Generosity is this powerful for very good reason, because it is characterized by the inner quality of letting go or relinquishing. It reverses the forces that create suffering. It is a profound antidote to the strong habits of clinging and grasping and guarding and attachment that lead to so much pain and suffering. Generosity," she writes, "brings happiness at every stage of its expression. We experience joy in forming the intention to give. We experience joy in the action of giving. And we experience joy in remembering that we have given." And as in the experience I described of meeting Peggy in Panguitch, Utah, that experience of a deep and meaningful connection which transcended some of the boundaries between us is something that remains with me, that I still remember of all the people that I met on that trip over 20 years ago. It is these kinds of exchanges of open-hearted generosity of spirit that stay with us. They give me, and I think they give us, some hope for our future in a world that only seems to offer despair and division. All too often we have our heads down, too focused on our own internal dialogue, that we fail to see the abundance of grace and love that is available to us. We are hampered, perhaps by our own limitations, by our need to control outcomes, by our fear of loss, by the struggle and pain we have endured in the past. It can be difficult to open to the grace and love around us for the transformation that we will be required to be in this world. Being involved in a church community such as this one, or some other community organization, can give us some of the support we need to be able to practice a spirit of generosity. Spiritual courage should not have to happen in a vacuum. We can't do this work alone. We need our friends and our spiritual companions with us on this journey. You know, there's this expression that gets thrown around a lot that it takes a village to raise a child. And I think we need to expand upon that. Not only does it take a village to raise a child, it takes a village to help us all to become more healthy, happy, and whole at whatever stage of life we find ourselves. Social scientists tell us that we are all born with an innate curiosity about the world and other people around us. We want to know more. We all have a tendency toward right action. We all have a desire to give, to share whatever abundance has touched us. According to Jack Kornfield, we all have, without exception, a very deep longing to give to the earth, to give to others, to give to society, to work, to love, to care for this earth. One of the worst human sufferings, he continues, is not to find a way to love or a place to work and give of your heart and being. Several recent studies have found that being generous increases our ability to cope with physical pain and symptoms of chronic disease. Volunteering has been associated with significant decreases in blood pressure, stomach acid, and cholesterol levels, and increases in immunoglobulin, whatever, A, which boosts our immune system. In fact, volunteering has been correlated with a lower risk of mortality in older adults, decreased symptoms of stress, and better sleep. This is due to the phenomenon called the helper's high, which is a release of endorphins, those natural mood-elevating and pain-reducing chemicals produced by the brain, and that happens when we engage in an act of generosity. One of the only ways we can change the world is by changing ourselves. The young man in the story by Gretchen Haley that Abigail read as our reading realized that whatever the value of this precious, precious stone, it was more valuable to learn how to be open-hearted enough to give it away so easily. Haley closes the reading with these words. We all carry within us a precious stone. That is this great blessing, this gift that is just ours, this gift that we long to offer the world, that in our giving will bless us all the more. Amen, and blessed be. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing 346, I think.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. That
The rose we offer is a statement of yes, is an opening of our hearts, a lifting of our spirits, a lifting of our sight to gaze out and not just always be inward. May we always go forth with that vision of looking out, of saying yes, of offering a rose and whatever we can as a gift. Amen. Please be seated. Your offerings, your financial offerings for the ministry and mission of this congregation will now be gratefully received. A final candle for all of the joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts. Let us pray. Spirit of life, Spirit of open-hearted generosity, we see you manifest all around us in the things that we do and the things that are done for us and the things we hear about. It's not easy sometimes to practice that kind of open-hearted generosity. It's not easy. to remain hopeful at times when despair is all around us. It's not easy sometimes to have a positive outlook on life. And yet that's what we're called upon to do and to be in the world for each other, for ourselves, and to find the support we need, to find the people to talk with, to find the people to really engage deeply with, that will help us, assist us, accompany us on this journey. Our prayer today is to move in that direction, to find that support, to find that opening of our hearts, to remember those times when hearts have been open to us and try to emulate that as we walk forward in the world. Let us pause for a moment of our own prayer and reflection.
For our song of inspiration, if you can turn to number 402, From You I Receive, and we're going to sing it through 3 times.